Welcome to Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. I am Jamie G, and I'm back with Magnum to help you seize the gap and stop being so inefficient. We got a little something for everybody when it comes to Week 4 Sunday and Monday night football games. We got some DraftKings picks, fantasy advice, and some of our favorite wagers. Mills, good luck this week and go Bills.
It's worked so far, so go Bills, go Birds. Lot less worried about the Bills this week. I'm a little bit skeptical on the Eagles traveling to Tampa Bay, but if yeah, the Bills need to really handle their business at home against the Saints. Especially, I know some people going to that game, so I would like that to be a good one. And hopefully, this will be a good episode of Seize the Gap. Thank you very much for checking out our show. You can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF and on the web at seizethegapff.com. Very simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please make sure that you hit the thumb. And you should know that while we are not affiliated with the DraftKings Sportsbook, we are getting our odds and wagers from there, and everything is accurate as of September 26, 2025.
The NFL is going hard in primetime this week, and we got two Monday night games, but they're not spaced out nearly as far as they were in our previous Monday night doubleheader. Ring the bell, baby, because it is time for the tale of the tape.
On Sunday Night Football, we have the 2-1 Green Bay Packers, 7-point favorites, minus 360 on the money line, traveling to Jerry World to face the Dallas Cowboys, who are 1-2, 7-point home dogs, plus 285 on the money line. Game total is 47.5 points. In the first Monday night game, which kicks off at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a battle of the completely defeateds. We have the 0-3 Jets plus 2.5-point underdogs, plus 130 on the money line, traveling to Miami to face the 0-3 Dolphins, who are minus 2.5-point home favorites, minus 155 on the money line. Game total is 45.5 points. In the second Monday night game, which kicks off only an hour later at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the somehow 2-1 Cincinnati Bengals, 7.5-point road dogs, plus 330 on the money line, going to Mile High to face the 1-2 Denver Broncos, who are 7.5-point home favorites, minus 425 on the money line. Game total is 44.5 points. Not really seeing any weather issues here. It does look like Justin Fields will be available for the New York Jets. CeeDee Lamb will be out for the Cowboys. Jamie G, this is an interesting one here. Looking right up top, what do you think about the Micah Parsons revenge narrative here? Is it overblown? Are you definitely going to be banging the over one half of a sack prop for Parsons? You think Jerry could actually win this one? I had a little bit of faith in the Cowboys until they lost CeeDee Lamb, and at this point, I'm not really seeing it happen if they don't have CeeDee Lamb. How are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, it's a huge loss for them and what it allows them to do on offense to be able to keep up here. I worry so much that their defense is not going to be able to slow down Green Bay's offense and then what, right? And so I want to go crazy on the Micah Parsons thing, Mills, but I think they're going to be, triple teaming him and doing everything they can so he doesn't impact the game. They'd rather give up a sack to literally anybody else on that defense other than him. He'll probably find a way to get there. I think it's intriguing, but I don't know that I'm gonna make it part of my wagering.
Do you think it's going to be the George Pickens smash game that it's kind of shaping up to be? This is one of those things, especially in the DFS community, everybody starts getting kind of groupthink here, and it just seems like the math is easy, right? No CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson and Pickens are going to eat, or do you think maybe that Packers defense can slow them down?
I think they can. I think they can roll coverages and slow him down. And the thing with Pickens that worries you is he just has a propensity to get in his head and get frustrated early. If they can frustrate him and take him out of this game, we've literally seen that happen. So I think they can.
Any chance Javonte Williams keeps it up? He's looked a little bit better every week. He's been heavily involved in the passing game. They're really only using Miles Sanders as a breather back, so he's getting one of the better workloads in the league. So even if Dallas falls behind, he can still get you there, in a PPR league in fantasy terms, or maybe in the combo yards. If you're wagering on him, you starting to believe a little bit more in Javonte Williams?
I am, and look, and I think because of the situation, it helps the belief system here. I mean, he's getting the lion's share. He's kind of emerged, and he's earned the right to be the lead pony there. And so I am, and they're going to have to try to. The best thing that Dallas can do is keep Green Bay's offense on the bench, and so they're going to have to try to push, control the clock, push the ball down the field when they can and open it up with some form of running game. And I also think he can get there if they find themselves down in the red zone. I think he's got a nose for it. He can maybe find himself in the end zone.
I like that. On the Green Bay side of the ball, we have no Jaden Reed. Is there any of the receiving group that you really like there? You got Wicks, you got Dubs, and you got Golden primarily. Is any one of those guys stand out as a better option or someone who's more likely to, rack up the yards or find the end zone than the others?
I guess I'm leaning towards Golden here, but it's just that's the hard thing about Green Bay is they got a million of these guys and they're all the same. But I think I would probably lean towards Golden. He started to emerge a little bit. That's where I'm going to lean.
I think I would do the same. Again, Jordan Love has been targeted more. I think he led the team in receiving yards last week against the Browns. Just missed him on a couple of big throws in week 2. And that's the one thing he does bring to that receiving corps that not all the other guys have is that real good field stretching speed. Gun to your head, man. How many sacks for Micah Parsons in this game?
I'm going to go ahead and say a half a sack, and I'm gonna kind of take the under here.
I'm going to go 1.5. I'm going to go over. He gets a hole, and then he gets the chip in on one. And kind of random guy to score a touchdown here. Who you going with, man? Random touchdown score.
I'm gonna go with Turbin. I just think if this is the week to kind of scheme up and utilize him and find a way, they do.
That's a pretty good one there. I am going to go with, it's not super random, but I am going to go with Matthew Golden, their first career touchdown. I think that could definitely happen in that one. How much does the Justin Fields probably playing change your calculus for the Monday night game, if at all, against the Dolphins?
Well, it helps. It makes me think that maybe this game can go over, and I think there can be some points scored there. That's what it does for me in terms of the overall score total, and maybe making this into I wouldn't say a sneaky shootout, but maybe making this one be a higher scoring affair than you think.
I think there is some sneaky shootout potential. It just depends on which version of the Jets offense shows up, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
remember all the way back in the ancient days of week 1 where it looked like they were going to maybe be at least a fun offense this season.
yeah.
They still don't have a lot, that's
Yeah, but you saw them put up a lot of points against Pittsburgh week 1. They looked like a functioning unit, and then week 2 they completely disappeared. And then there's the injury, with the backup quarterback with Tyrod Taylor going in week 3. So we still haven't kind of saw anything consistent. But look, this is as good a spot as any against Miami here to be able to get something going on offense.
if the Jets pulled off the upset and just, obviously I think the defense would have to play pretty well. You think it's more likely that Garrett Wilson goes off or that Brees Hall goes off? Because the Miami secondary is the weakest part, but you know what I mean? It's kind of, you don't always trust the role for Hall.
Yeah, that's just it. I guess I'll probably lean Wilson here.
That's fair. I want to go Hall just because I think he's still got that big playability. But if they're going to sub in Braden Allen and even Isaiah Davis as much as they are, that definitely hurts. His workload has gone down a little bit every week. He had the very, very nice workload in week 1. So it's really a matter of if they can return to that form or not. And at least the offense looked pretty good in the fourth quarter against the Bucks. It took them forever to get going. But once it did, they started rolling a little bit. On the other side of the ball, I think Devin Achane kind of is what he is. Do you think we can get another solid week from Tyreek Hill here? He's going to get the big matchup against Gardner. You think he can have his third solid game in a row?
I think he can, and I think they'll scheme him a little bit. I don't know that it's going to be the huge highs that we saw, 2 or 3 years ago, but I do think he can have another game where he gets, say 5 catches for 70 yards and maybe finds himself in the end zone. I think that's totally doable here against this Jets defense. And also, if they're serious about, him potentially being a candidate for a trade, I think he's gonna want to show out a little bit too.
Yeah, there could be a degree of showcasing going on here. I mean, it's a divisional matchup. I think one of those games where you don't want to say anything could happen, but this one feels like a really volatile one. Any side jump out as far as like defense? Who do you think could force more turnovers, that Jets defense or the Dolphins defense?
It's really tough because the Dolphins front four could potentially, get some fumbles on fields. He's been prone to kind of the turnover. But on the other hand, we saw Tua last time he played made just a horrific decision and threw the football right to Terrell Bernard and the Bills defense there to win the game. So I guess I'll probably go Jets defense just because I think that overall they're a better unit, but I think it's a caveat because Justin Fields is prone to turn the ball over.
Yeah, this is a coin flipping one. I've definitely gone back and forth between one. I'd probably go with the Jets for the same reason. At least they have strength at every level. That defense, the secondary outside of Micah Fitzpatrick is an absolute train wreck for the Dolphins right now. So that is certainly an interesting one. You think we're going to get Devin Achane kind of keeping the train moving basically here? He's been the one consistent piece of that offense so far through 3 weeks.
I think so. And when you look at this Jets defense, they're a talented group, but you can run the football on them. And I just think when they're going to have to, Miami's going to lean into that to open up the short passing game, and that's going to be their plan of attack. So I think so. I think A-Chain's pretty much the only one you can bet on in that offense. Still,
Yeah, definitely. You still want him in all your fantasy lineups and all of that good stuff. For a random touchdown score here, I'm kind of bouncing between. You know what? Let's just have it because it'd be such a good story. Darren Waller touchdown. Why not? He's supposed to be active for the first time this season. You know, everyone would love to talk about it. It'd be a good story. So I'm going with Darren Waller getting the random touchdown. Who do you got for the random TD in this one?
I love it. Man, it's really tough. I'm going to go on the opposite side of the ball and go Mason Taylor, getting in the end zone there for the Jets. I just, started to merge a little bit. We'll see if he can carry that in. I don't love the Jets, or I'm sorry, I don't love Miami's ability to cover the tight end here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go Mason Taylor.
I like that. It was actually him or Malik Washington were my other two options. So I think we're in the same universe on that one. And I think we're in the same universe when it comes to the night game here, the final game, the nightcap, or what you want to call it. I think we're both pretty comfortable with the Broncos here, even laying the points. I mean, if the Bengals lay another egg like they did last week, they probably have to consider other quarterback. I mean, that's all hands on deck. Thankfully, they have the two wins, but this feels like Cleveland or this feels like Cincinnati could just be on the verge of almost imploding here, right?
Yeah, and this is just such a tough spot here, and it could force something. It could force maybe the trade of a Russell Wilson or a Jameis Winston, or you could see some chips falling maybe after this one. But I just love the Denver at home here. That defense against a backup quarterback that's prone to throwing the interception. It's gonna be a tough time protecting him against that front and some of the things they can do in the secondary. So to confuse. So I really like Denver's defense here.
This feels like it was custom built to be the bounce back game for Bo Nix, right? Everything just
Yeah,
sets up perfectly here.
absolutely. He gets back to what we thought we saw, tail end of last year, heading into the playoffs. Maybe he uses his legs a little bit more, all those things.
I think the Broncos are in a spot where we feel pretty comfortable. They're going to put points up. You know, you can roll most of those guys in your fantasy leagues, that kind of thing. Even some of the ancillary guys, your Troy Franklins of the world, maybe even get a bounce back from Evan Ingram, a deeper game from RJ Harvey. But if it's going to be a true shootout here, you need two to tango. We've talked about that. Do you think there's any chance that the Bengals can bounce back again against another tough defense on the road and Browning at least put together, even if he turns it over a couple times, a case where he gets, 250 yards and two touchdowns or something, at least put some points on the board?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and garbage time counts too, right? And so, Denver gets up big. Maybe they're up 27 to 3 or 27 to 10 or something. You could see kind of Cincinnati coming in and maybe getting a backdoor touchdown or so in garbage time. It matters and it counts just the same.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting spot for them to be in. I think they have to manage to hang in there early. It's never good for a team to fall behind, but given how sloppy they were in that first half last week against the Vikings, if they get down 10 to nothing really quick in the first quarter, you hate to say that they're going to quit or whatever, but they had all those fumbles, the penalties. It just feels like a team, the ironic thing is they're 2-1, and maybe they are the team like we thought Miami was going to turn into this train wreck thing. I think there's a chance all of a sudden maybe it winds up being Cincinnati, despite the fact that they do have a couple of wins. I do think there is certainly some factor for just like this going like really, really off the rails here, far more than you ever would have anticipated. Like, I mean, maybe they do wind up trading Trey Hendrickson
Yeah,
after it's all said and done.
it definitely could. I mean, if for a team we thought was pretty secure to have a massive bounce back, doing all the things they did in the preseason to kind of get ready to not start slow, and then this happens. It's unbelievable.
How many turnovers will the Broncos defense force? Under or over 2.5?
Ooh, that's a really good number. I'm gonna go over.
I'm going to go over as well. And then random touchdown score, I'm going Marvin Mims Jr. Bo missed him twice last week. I'm betting they hook up at least one time for one of those long touchdowns. Who you got for a random TD score?
It's not super random, but I think Troy Franklin gets in there this week.
Yeah, so it's good to make sure you're not going against Bo Nix. If you've been riding him this long in your fantasy league, this is not the week to put him on your bench.
True that. Let's kick off our fantasy discussion here with the usual suspects. Mills, who should be locked in our fantasy lineups, Thundergun style?
No hesitation, no surrender for the Packers. You want Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, and the Green Bay DST in your lineup. On the other side of the ball, you can still roll everybody. It's a tough matchup, but garbage time counts, and it's going to be a pretty condensed target tree here. You have Javonte Williams, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, and Brandon Aubrey. Yes, you got to start the Cowboys kicker. If he gets an 85-yard field goal and he's not in your lineup, you'll never forgive yourself. For the New York Jets, you want to lock Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson into your lineups. And on the Miami side, Devin Achane and Tyreek Hill. On the other Monday Night Football game for the Bengals, you still have to take a chance on Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. You can never bench Jamar Chase, but things are starting to get a little bit thin for Brown and Higgins. And then on the Broncos side, you can start everybody, but you most definitely want to have Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, Cortland Sutton, and the Denver DST in your lineups here. In getting into our start sits, Jamie G, we had Dak Prescott versus Matthew Stafford. We both took Matthew Stafford at home against the Colts, and I think you're a big fan of the Rams this week. Is this more of a you like Stafford or that you're concerned about using Dak with no CeeDee Lamb against a good defense?
Yeah, it's definitely the lesser of kind of what I wanted to do here. I just can't. It's so hard for me to go Dak here with no CD against a really good defense, a motivated defensive line that's going to be wants to get him on the ground. He's in a really tough spot here, and when you look at what's going on with Stafford, he still has Puka Nacua, he's still got Devontae Adams. There's still plenty there to be okay with, even though it's, Indianapolis's defense has been better than expected.
And the Colts could probably put up enough points to turn that one into a possible shootout. So he's got that going for him as well. So we both like Stafford. And we're like, all right, let's just see how far the line is for Dak Prescott. Would you rather start Dak Prescott again versus the Packers or CJ Stroud versus the Titans? In this case, we both opted for Dak Prescott. I just don't want anything to do with that Texans offense outside of you have to start Nico Collins. And in a super flex league, you probably don't have a better option as your second quarterback than CJ Stroud. Play the Houston DST if you want. But other than that, man, I just don't want anything to do with the Texans offense right now, right?
I just can't. It's just until they show us otherwise and somebody else steps up. There's just get a run game, anything until like freaking protect. I can't be part of it.
Yeah, can't do it, won't do it. And then we had kind of the battle of the former backups here. This is probably more for a super flex league or a deep league. You have Jake Browning for the Bengals starting at Denver, or Carson Wentz starting for the Vikings at the Steelers, but technically it's in Dublin. We both went with Carson Wentz. I think you can throw on that Steelers defense. He gets Jordan Addison back, and I just don't trust Jake Browning at Denver. So it was pretty simple calculus for me. Was this one close, or was it a pretty easy call for you to go with Wentz?
Pretty easy here, even though given all the things, it's just I, I haven't been impressed with Pittsburgh's defense. I understand it's the weird field. I understand it's Wentz, but given the two choices, I just felt more comfortable here with Wentz.
Yeah, again, I think the return to Jordan Addison will also be a nice boost for that offense. Jordan Mason looked good in his first chance, kind of taking over the main role with Aaron Jonesy out. And then we had another one where you're digging deeper, maybe a super flex league or a large league, Tua Tagovailoa versus the Jets, or Jackson Dart, the rookie getting his first start against the Chargers. We both went with Tua. And I guess it's just for me, it was just more the uncertainty around Dart. At least you kind of know what Tua is. I kind of a baseline expectation of like 225 yards and two touchdowns or something like that. I think Dart could add a lot more with his legs than Tua can, obviously, but I'm not sure what we're going to get in week one. So I was just exercising caution a little bit. Why'd you go with Tua?
Yeah, I just think he's gonna, the Jets defense, while talented, I don't know that they're gonna be able to do enough to disrupt. So I think Tua's, showed enough last week to where I think that game also has potential for a little bit of a shootout. I could see him kind of putting the ball in the air a little bit and putting together some drives to get some points.
That sounds about right to me. And then we had Javonte Williams versus the Packers or Tony Pollard at the Texans. Javonte Williams was the pick for both of us. Again, for me, pretty easy. He's getting an elite workload. He's been more involved in the passing game. So even if it's a shootout, you expect him to get some nice dump down passes. Tony Pollard has been fine. He has been extremely serviceable. He will get you your 8 to 10 PPR points or whatever, but there's not a lot of touchdown upside. He's not really being used in the passing game. That's just another offense I think it's good to just avoid, right?
Yeah, I think so too. It's just there's just too many question marks there to get comfortable.
And we both said that we liked Matthew Golden, the rookie wide receiver for the Packers, traveling to Dallas. But if you had to play him or Jordan Addison, returning from suspension for the Vikings, who would you go with? We both stuck with Golden. Again, I think he's going to find the end zone this week. He's the best deep threat in that offense. I think the Packers are going to put up some points. Just given the uncertainty, I like Addison overall, but you do have Wentz, the international game, all that. I figured just a safer bet to go with Matthew Golden, but this one was pretty close for me.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing with me, Mills, on that one.
So Troy Franklin, the waiver wire darling of week 2, versus Trey Tucker, the waiver wire darling of week 3. We both went with Troy Franklin. I just like that Broncos offense to score points a lot more than the Raiders. Maybe Tucker catches another deep touchdown or whatever, so be it. But I'll take my chances on going heavy on the Broncos this week. Is that kind of the same calculus for you?
Absolutely. And this just feels like we talked about it, the get right game for Bo Nix in this offense. They've shown the connection with Troy Franklin and Bo Nix, been playing football together a long time. I really like them to be able to put up points in this one, and the matchup was everything for me.
Yeah, I'm really going to be disappointed if the Broncos don't put up at least a 30 burger there. Getting towards the end here, we had Dontavian Wicks, the wide receiver for the Packers, traveling to Dallas, or Tyquan Thornton, who's very quietly been the wide receiver one for the Chiefs at home against the Ravens. We both went with Tyquan Thornton. I just like his role in the offense. I feel it's a lot more solidified. Whereas, like you said, for the Packers, right, it's always like the box of chocolates. You never know who you're going to get. Tyquan Thornton is, for better or worse, the man for the Chiefs, right?
Yeah. I mean, he is. And we know that Patrick Mahomes is going to force the ball down the field to him at least a couple times. And he's kind of been emerging as the go-to for him. So we've seen it unfold over the first couple weeks. And I think this one was about as no-brainer as any of them.
Yeah, and don't worry if Xavier Worthy plays. It'll probably be a limited role, unlimited snap. So just if you're in a league where you're starting Tyquan Thornton, don't go away from him here. And then here's a fun one. We both picked him to score touchdowns, Darren Waller or Mason Taylor. In this case, we both went with Taylor. I think he's just going to be more involved with the offense. I just think Darren Waller's a big body who gets down there and sneaks in the end zone. But if you had to pick between the two, I definitely feel that Taylor has a similar ceiling with a better floor, right?
Yeah, 100%. It just way more comfortable with that pick. We just have no idea what to expect with Waller, dude. I mean, he's been out of, I mean, for all we know, he plays one play and leaves with a hammy. Like, you just, that one's
Never
too
to be
tough.
seen for again. Maybe he retires at halftime. We're going to one of those again.
We've seen it before.
It has happened. And then finally, we already alluded to this one. We had the battle of the dumpster diving defenses. The Jets DST or the Dolphins DST. We both went with the Jets. We mentioned that before. So if you got to go there, they should at least get, a couple sacks and a turnover or two.
And no, we are not affiliated with Draftkings, but we are, in fact, down with the king. We got a few picks to help you out in your DraftKings Showdown contest this week, starting with the Sunday night football matchup between the Packers and the Cowboys.
Right up top here in your captain spot for Sunday Night Football. Don't overthink it. Just put Josh Jacobs in there. 16,200 in your captain spot. I'm expecting at least one touchdown, 20 carries, maybe even a couple of receptions. So there's a lot to love there. If you're playing in a large field tournament, I think you could probably go with George Pickens. There's going to be some variance here, but if the Cowboys are going to do anything, it's probably him and or Javonte Williams that gets it done. Pickens does have that big playability. Still 14,700 in your captain spot, but it's not crazy expensive, but it's certainly a little bit more pricey. And Jamie G, if you had to get a value captain for the Packers, would you rather go with Matthew Golden at 10,500 or the Green Bay defense special teams at 8,100?
That's really tough. I mean, I'm going to go with Matthew Golden here only because while I think Green Bay's special teams can be really good in this one, I expect there to be some garbage time production here. I think the Dallas is going to have to kind of air it out and just, I don't know, man. I think I'm going to lean Golden here.
In general, you're usually better off going that way. And the best part about playing a DSD captain sometimes is it saves you enough salary to jam in everything you want. And I don't know that there's that much you need to jam in here without CD Lamb. So it's just probably a spot where you don't need to go that far. As far as value plays on Sunday Night Football, Dontavian Wicks is inconsistent, but he's only 4K. In your flex, Golden is 7,000 and Dubs is 6,400. So you're saving between 2 and 3,000 by going with Wicks there. So I like that. The Green Bay DST is only 5,400 in your flex. Could be a nice play to stack up with Jacobs if you think the Packers are going to roll him pretty good. Jamie G, if you're going for a Cowboys value wide receiver in your flex, would you rather go with Jalen Tolbert 3,800 or Kavontae Turpin at 4,400?
Probably Turpin here. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I know that there's enough of a difference in price, but they've been trying to get Turpin more involved. And if there's ever a week to scheme him in here with CeeDee Lamb out, I think this is it. So I think I'm going to go with Turpin here.
I will too. Again, their ownership should be pretty similar, and Turpin just has more touchdown upside. We saw him last year scheme up a couple plays for him in the red zone. He's also a pretty good returner, so you get that chance he pops one off, something like that. So that can help you out. If you're spending up outside of the captain spot, I think you are probably getting Josh Jacobs in there. No matter what your build is, more or less, he is 10,800 in the flex. I think you're also going to want to get Jake Ferguson in there at 8,400. We saw last week that he is kind of Dak's volume guy. Wouldn't surprise me to see him get 8 to 10 targets. It's been a little bit easier to attack this Green Bay defense in the middle of the field than on the perimeter. So I could see Ferguson having a nice day. In your flex, Jamie G, would you rather pay up for Pickens at 9,800 or save a couple $100, drop down to Javonte Williams at 9,000 flat?
That's a good one. I think I'd probably go Javonte Williams here and save the money. I know that all the logic tells you to go with Pickens, and I think most people will. To gain that little bit of difference here, I think I'm going to go with Williams.
I think I would go with Williams too, because if I'm going to go in on Pickens, I'm probably playing him a captain and hoping for the monster. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know that it's really worth it here where we've seen Williams kind of have that pretty much, a better floor and probably a similar ceiling right now, especially if he's getting the end zone carries there. And even though he is 800 cheaper, I bet you he'll also be lower owned. So I think that's a nice way to go. As far as the little mini stack to help you get started, you can throw Josh Jacobs in at captain, 16-2, that Green Bay DST at 5,400 in your flex, Dontavian Wicks in your flex at 4K flat, and then Jake Ferguson at 8,400. That leaves you 8,000 per player to finish building out your lineup. So I think that's a pretty nice way to get started. Something that's probably a little bit better suited for a small field tournament or a cash game. But if you want to get a little bit contrarian with the final couple guys, you could also probably use it in a large field tournament.
Let's get into the Monday night games here, starting with the Jets traveling down to Miami to face the Dolphins.
So you're saying they're going to Miami. All right. Any excuse to
Big
use the
Willie
Will
style,
Smith
dude.
song. Yeah, big Willie style right there. Shout out Eva Mendes in the video. If you are playing the first Monday night game showdown in a small field tournament, cash game, double up head to head, single entry, something like that, don't overthink it. Put Devin Achane in a captain, 17,700. Pretty similar ceiling to Tyreek Hill here. He has an excellent floor due to his involvement in the passing game. If the Dolphins get behind, he is just going to be catching passes all day. If you're playing in a large field tournament, I think you probably go with Breece Hall here at captain. He's 12,000. It's nice price savings. He's a guy with a lot of big play potential. He's got a nose for the end zone when he gets the ball there. He's good in the receiving game. We saw him kind of put it all together in week one. We know the upside is there. He's probably not going to catch much ownership in the captain position. So if you're going to go with a Jet, I think he's your guy. Jamie G, it's tough to trust one of these quarterbacks here, a captain. If you had to pick one at captain, would you rather play Justin Fields at 15-3 or Tua at 14-4?
That's tough. I'd probably go Fields because of the rushing upside.
I think probably in a cash game or something, a smaller tournament, it's Fields because he's got that floor that adds to it. But on DraftKings, you do get the passing bonuses for 300 yards and whatnot, and Tua can generally rack those up a little bit more. So I might go that way, but again, I don't feel great about either. You do get a few good value plays in this game. Mason Taylor, the tight end for the Jets, is only 2,800. He had 6 targets in week 3 after only having 3 total targets in the first 2 weeks. They need a secondary option in the passing game. It looks like he's kind of arrow is pointing up. Then you have Ollie Gordon, the second, 3K flat. He is now the RB2 for the Dolphins. Could maybe vulture a goal line carrier too. They gave him a couple series on Thursday Night Football against the Bills. Looked pretty good. Had a good preseason. Seems like he's clearly the running back too now. So if they get it down to 2 backs, he's at least worth a shot as a value play. And then you also have Malik Washington, the wide receiver 3 for the Dolphins, 3,600 in your flex. He's had at least 5 targets in 2 of the 3 games so far. He's clearly the wide receiver 3 and another one of these guys who's a good returner. So does offer some upside there if he could pop off a touchdown. Jamie G, we talked about him a little bit. It doesn't sound like you have much interest taking a shot at Darrell Wall at 4K, right? That's a little bit too rich.
Yeah, to me, if it was 400, I think I would be all over it. But at 4,000, it's just, dude, we haven't seen. I mean, nah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, 1,800 or so would probably be about the area in which my interest would start to peak. I don't mind taking a shot at him to score a random touchdown, but I don't know if he's going to have a big role outside of that, maybe a couple of red zone packages and on third down, what have you. So I think I'm with you there. If you're going to spend up outside of the captain spot, obviously you want the H-hand in there one way or the other. He's 11-8 in your flex. Tyreek Hill's probably the other guy. He's had 2 good weeks in a row. I think he can at least string a third one here, 80-ish yards, touchdown, something like that at 11K in your flex. I think that's worth it. On the other side of the ball, JBG, would you rather pay 10,000 for Garrett Wilson or 8,000 for Breece Hall in your flex?
Probably Wilson. Again, the Miami secondary is so weak. I think it's a really good matchup for Wilson. It's tough because there hasn't been any consistency in the passing game. You just don't know the target share, but I think I'm going Wilson here.
Same kind of thing as I said before. If I'm going to play Breece Hall, I'm probably putting him in a captain and going for the whole enchilada. I think that Wilson is probably the generally better play if you're going to put him in your flex. And so if you're going to stack it up a little bit there, you put Achan in a captain at 17,700. Throw in Mason Taylor in your flex at 2,800. You could throw Breece Hall in there in this build at 8K flat, and then Malik Washington at 3,600. That leaves you a robust 8,950 to fill out your lineup. So you could definitely tweak that a little bit, but that's some solid bones there. I think you can hang some skin on.
Let's finish off our DraftKings discussion here with the final Monday night game. Cincinnati traveling to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and they might lose by a mile or a million. I'm not sure which is larger in this case. Don't, again, overthink it. If you were playing in a cash game, small field tournament, head-to-head, double up, what have you, play J.K. Dobbins, man. He's only 13,200 in your captain position. He's been extremely consistent, 14.8 points, 15.5 points, 15.3 points, but he's looked a little better every week. It's a little more comfortable in the offense. I think the Broncos are going to smash here. He definitely has that 100-yard and a touchdown upside, maybe a little bit more, depending how the game flow unfolds. But if you are in a large field tournament, you're going for it all. Throw Bo Nix in there. Bet on the bounce back week. He's 15,900 in your flex. Yeah, there's a little bit of risk given the bad throws he's made over the first couple of weeks, but I think the Cincinnati Bengals defense is just what the doctor ordered. Jamie G, can you talk yourself into any Bengals player at your captain spot? Jamar Chase, 16,500. Browning's 15K. Chase Brown, 14,400. T. Higgins, 12,600. I just don't think I could do it. I guess it would be Chase if anybody, just because I guess he can have the monster, but I just don't know that I'm going to go there really.
Yeah, I don't feel great about any of them. And if this game, if Cincinnati at least could pack a lunchbox full of defense here, I could feel good about Chase Brown. But I worry that they're going to get down early and be forced to kind of throw it. There's just not much here that I like.
Yeah, put it this way. If you want to play some Bengals, you're going to have a nice contrarian lineup that should probably work well in just about any large field tournament. If you're looking for value, you probably want to go on the Denver side of the ball. Marvin Mims Jr. is only 3,600. Could have had 2 long touchdowns last week, was wide open. Bo Nix just missed him. I think they connect on at least one of those this week. And then Evan Ingram should be back here. He's all the way down to 4,400. He's basically done nothing so far this season, but that's going to lead to him being at this low price with low ownership. So this could be a nice get right week for him as well. Excellent stacking options if you're going to play Nix a captain. And if you're spending up outside of the captain spot, you definitely want to get J.K. Dobbins and Bo Nix in there. Nix is 10-6 in your flex. Dobbins is 8,800. You probably want to try to work Cortland Sutton in there at 9K as well. Jamie G, there's the one lost man here. You got Troy Franklin. He's kind of stuck in the middle. He's only 6,600. That's almost 3,000 more than Mims, but almost 3,000 less than Sutton. What do you do with Troy Franklin?
He's in a weird spot here. I'd love to be able to fit him in. I really would. But it feels like you have to pick kind of between him and Sutton, right? So I think that's what the decision you have to make.
Yeah, it'll depend a little bit how you build. It's just kind of interesting how far these receivers are priced apart. But at the end of the day, they all kind of have similar ceilings depending on how the ball gets spread out. So it's a really interesting slate in terms of pricing. So just play around with this one. You can definitely make a lot of things work. There's a lot of salary available. As far as a little mini stack to get you going, if you throw Bo Nix a captain at 15,900, you can add Marvin Mims Jr. at 3,600, Evan Ingram at 4,400, and then go run it back with Jamar Chase at 11K because the Bengals got to do something. You have to play someone from that side of the ball. Still leaves you about 75-50 per player to finish it out. I think in big tournaments, getting Bo Nix in there, despite the ownership, is going to be the way to go because there's so many different ways you can stack them up.
break out your wallets because it is time for Bet It, Bank It, Blow It. We're ready to place our bets, but first, we got to see how we're doing here, Mills. What condition is our condition in?
Well, we need to check to see what condition the condition is in. And please remember, we are getting our odds and wagers from the DK Sportsbook. Everything is accurate as of September 26th, 2025. And you should know here on Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, all of our wagers are in our preferred currency, the Cricket coin. In Cricket, we trust. First up here, we have the Golden Grab Bag. These are basically wagers we like, but not enough to make them our absolute favorite wagers of the week. Last week in week 3 on Sunday, Monday Night Football, JBG, you ended up down about 12 cricket coins. You went 1 for 3. You hit on your longest one. You had the Lamar Jackson 3+ passing touchdowns, but you did miss on Patrick Mahomes 40+ rushing yards and Wandale Robinson 40+ receiving yards. I didn't have anything going for the grab bag last week, so yeah, you had the 12 coin loss. Not too shabby. You always like to be in the green, but it could be worse. Overall, on the Sunday, Monday night slate, you're down about 104 coins on the season. I still haven't offered anything to the grab bag on these. I've had some other stuff going on because I'm a little bit of a degenerate. We will get there sooner than later. Overall, for the grab bag on the season, including the Thursday, Friday night slates, JBG, you're up about 56 coins. I'm up about 291. Lead us off for this week, man. What are you filling up the grab bag with?
Yeah, I just got a couple this week, man. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to start with the Jets at Miami over 43 and a half. It's an alternate total there. So just buying a couple of points there. But I like this one as kind of a sneaky shootout here. Over 43 and a half, minus 146, 100 coins to win back 168. And then I'm going to go with the J.K. Dobbins prop here with the 70+ rush yards. I can picture them getting up, running the football here, him getting some volume, like him to break one or two. It's plus 108, 100 coins there to win 208 back. If some more props open up on that Jets Miami game when we're recording this, there was a limited amount of player props. I would potentially look at some player props for Devin A. Chain and others there on the Miami side of the ball.
Yeah, there was basically nothing up, I think, because of the uncertainty around Justin Fields, even though he is supposed to play. They had like a couple like first play of the game kind of props and very basic. It was basically just the any times, and that was it. Jamie G, we're teasing, maybe we'll find some more of those wagers later, but until then, my tease. You are a man who likes to do a little bit of teasing now and then. Last week you had a two-leg teaser for the Sunday, Monday night games. Unfortunately, you lost your 100 coins. You hit one of the two legs. You had the Giants plus 12, which missed, but you did hit on Detroit plus 10 and a half. In fact, they won the thing outright. On the season, you're down 200 coins on the Sunday, Monday night slate with the teases. And same thing overall, down 200 coins. Are you going back to the well this week, man? And you got the little extra game here going on. So you got the 3 games. Are you going to a 3-legger this week? How are you teasing it?
Yeah, and that Jets game, man, or that Giants game last week. I guess I should have just did a 7 point teaser because I was 1 point off from hitting that thing. It was 22-9. I needed plus 12. I was at plus
Russell
13.
Wilson feels so bad that the got fired from his job for it. So at least
Yeah,
someone
well,
paid for it.
at least there's that. All right. We got to move on. We got to take those losses. Them's the breaks. It was close, but no cigar. This week, I am going to incorporate all 3 games, get a little bit of a better spread here for us. I got a 3-leg, 6 point teaser. Leg number 1, I'm going to tease Denver down by 6 points to minus 1.5 at home against the Bengals. We think they win this one outright, even if this somehow tends to be a sneaky one, or we're worried about a backdoor cover. This eliminates that. I've also teased Miami all the way down to plus 3.5. I think Miami wins this game. I said that in previously this week. I think Miami wins the game. I really like getting the plus 3.5 here in case it's just by a field goal, or if the Jets happen to win, I think it will be very close within 3 points. So I like the protection there. And then last but not least, I've teased Green Bay all the way down to minus 1. I think that this could be a blowout game for Green Bay. I really do. But in the event Dallas manages to keep it close here, we bought some protection with teasing it down to minus 1. So again, Denver teased down to minus 1.5, Miami teased to plus 3.5, and Green Bay teased down to minus 1.5. We're getting that at plus 140 odds. So 100 coins there to win back 240. Let's win this week. Get back in the green, man.
I mean, obviously, you got to feel pretty good about getting two teams we think are going to win pretty handily down to the 1.5 there in the one. How come you went with the Dolphins and the points instead of doing the total? Just kind of curious because you had the total in the grab bag there. Was that even a decision? Were you just doing a thing with the spreads and you didn't consider the total as much there? I'm just kind of curious why you went with, one and one and one and the other.
Yeah, I just thought that there was this to me, this protects against whatever game script might be. And I think I kind of leaned on that. In the event this is a tight game, I like this even more. So I mean, there's just no matter how this game script goes, I like the plus 3.5. Whereas if we're going when teasing it over, getting it down, we still need some things to happen. This is one of those ugly AFC East division games where there's just not a lot of touchdowns scored, but maybe three or four field goals. Like you start to worry. So I think it just protected against that a little bit.
Yeah, this is probably a spot where I would think the over probably favors the Dolphins too. The more points that are scored, I think probably works in their favor generally. Although, who knows with what we've seen with the Jets. They're very schizophrenic. They're all over the place. And I should know that's one of the telltale signs of degeneracy. It is time for the 3 degrees of degeneracy where you gradually descend into degeneracy, and before you know it, you are a full-fledged degen. Last week on the Sunday Monday night slate, I went 0 for 3, down 175 cricket coins. Missed on Patrick Mahomes, 40 plus rushing yards, Jahmyr Gibbs, 40 plus receiving yards, and Malik Neighbors, 2 plus anytime touchdowns, which is all well and good because I would have missed out on the Malik Neighbors 2 plus anytime receptions because Russell Wilson was that bad. Overall for the season on the Sunday Monday night slate, I am down about 258 coins, and on the season, all slates considered, in the degeneracy, I am down about 607 coins. So properly degenerate. I'm doing it about right so far, but we're going to try to turn things around this week. We're going to start out with the flounder. This is your intro to degeneracy, just like a poor innocent flounder pledging in Animal House. I'm putting 100 cricket coins on Bo Nix to have 3 plus passing touchdowns. This is plus 397, so 100 coins to bring back 497. We both talked about the Broncos at length. We really think the offense is going to get her done here. So I think 3 passing touchdowns is definitely a viable outcome for Bo Nix. And then for the Barney, our Barney Gumbo wager, our favorite degenerate down at Moe's Tavern, we're going to throw 50 coins on Matthew Golden, the rookie wide receiver for the Packers, to find the end zone for the first time in his career. That's plus 230 on the anytime touchdown for Golden. So 50 coins to bring back about 165. And then finally, last but not least, you have the rickety cricket, the cricket where you live under the bridge with the dogs. You're doing anything you can. You got 25 coins to rub together. You're hoping to either win a wager or a magical genie occurs. We're going to take these 25 coins and put them on a little 2-leg single game parlay here. Pays out at plus 675. Leg one, we're taking Marvin Mims Jr., 50 plus receiving yards. That's plus 231 on its own. And then parlaying that with the Marvin Mims Jr. anytime touchdown score. That is plus 300. You put those together again, your odds are plus 675. So a wager of 25 coins returns 193.75 cricket coins. He could literally do this in one reception, had 2 shots at it last week. I think him and Nix are definitely hooking up on one of those. And when they do that, I'm going to be ready to party. In fact, I might have a parlay for the partay, or I might not. That's what you got to do when you come to the party, man. You have to have an offering. JBG, last week you made an offering to the party. You had a 3-leg parlay, and you hit 2 of the 3 legs. You got on the Malik Neighbors anytime touchdown, but you did hit on the Derrick Henry anytime touchdown and the Lamar Jackson 230 plus passing yard leg. So unfortunately, 2 out of 3 ain't going to get it done. You lost 100 coins so far on the Sunday Monday night slate for the season. You are down 200 coins to the party, and we are collaboratively down 100 coins on the season overall. At the party, you are down 400 coins, and we are collaboratively down about 200 cricket coins. JBG, the party gods have demanded you bring another offering. What do you have for us this week?
Yeah, I got a 3-leg same game parlay X. This is a feature over in Draftkings. If you guys haven't found this yet, you just enable it. It allows you to parlay different things from different games. I really like this feature. So I've got something for all 3 games on the primetime games here. Leg one, we're going to go with the Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown scorer, minus 210. It feels like he's got to get in the end zone, right? Like he's got to. This in Jerry World, he's punching in pay dirt. Leg two, I got Miami minus 2.5 against the Jets here. Again, I think they win this one outright. Minus 118 there on its own. Then leg three, J.K. Dobbins, 60 plus rushing yards. It's minus 151 on its own. Put them all together, we're at plus 353. All three seem extremely logical to me, and that's exactly why I'm going to bet it, right? We always talk about that. 100 coins to win 453. Mills, we hit this. I'm back in the winning column.
They should always feel good when you press that submit button. If they don't feel good at that point, you're really in trouble. Or maybe that's just a sign of a degenerate. So, dude, the Jacobs touchdown number is pretty wacky because I was going to look to that too. I'm like, oh, I'll go to the anytime, the two time. The two time is like only plus 240 or 260. What do you think
Yeah.
his three plus anytime number is?
I'm going to say 310 plus 310.
Oh, plus 1,000. But still, to score
Oh,
three touchdowns, that's still pretty crazy. Like, that's very, very low. That's approaching Derrick Henry territory because he had the streak going. He broke it last week. I believe going into last week, he had 11 straight games with a touchdown.
yeah, that's
Time to
that's
start a new streak.
time to start a new streak, man. Just like us, we're going to start a new winning streak. And lucky for you, we saved the best for last. A trip to the Golden Goose. That's where we find the golden eggs, which are pure gold, Jerry, pure gold.
Thank you, Kenny Banya. Last week on the Sunday, Monday night slate, I went 2 for 2. I hit the under in the Kansas City at New York Giants game and the Jahmyr Gibbs 25 plus receiving yards. Jamie G, you went 1 for 2. You missed on the Malik Neighbors 80 plus receiving yards, but hit on the Detroit at Baltimore over 51.5 alternate line. Overall for the season on the Sunday, Monday night slate, Jamie G, you were doing well. You were up about 897 coins. I'm doing well, but not as well as you. I'm up about 432 coins. When you combine all the slates, I'm actually down about 268 coins, while you are up about 363. That gives you the honors here. I'll lead us off with your Sunday night wager, the Golden Goose.
Yeah, I'm gonna put all 250 coins here on Jordan Love over 230.5 pass yards. That's his over under prop as of today, 230.5. It's minus 113. I don't know what more I can say here, Mills. I love this matchup for him being able to throw the ball against the Dallas secondary. They're pretty bad. You've been able to move, teams have been able to throw the ball and have a ton of success in the air. I think Jordan Love's right in line to continue that trend here. So love Jordan Love. Yeah, see what I did there? Hitting his over on the 230.5 passing yards, minus 113, 250 coins, Mills to win back 471.
He's going full Timbaland and Magoo over there. The love to love to love you. I do love that, in fact. On Sunday Night Football, I'm going to stick with the Packers, but I'm going to go with a little combo meal here. I'm going to put 250 coins on Josh Jacobs to have 100 plus rushing plus receiving yards, the combo yards. That is plus 121. So 250 coins to bring back 522.5 coins. Really love Jacobs here. I think this is his kind of get off the schneid game after a little bit of a slow start to the season. Moving over to Monday Night Football in that first game, the Jets at the Dolphins. I'm putting my 250 coins on Devin Achane to be an anytime touchdown scorer. That's minus 120, 250 coins to bring back about 258. And spoiler alert, there was not a lot on this menu, so it was basically go with a total, a spread, or a touchdown. And I elected to go with the Achane finding the end zone. Jamie G, what did you go with in that first Monday night game?
Again, because of the limited amount of things that are available, I'm just going to go ahead and put my 250 cricket coins on Miami money line versus the Jets. It's minus 155, 250 coins to win back 411. I will say I'll probably like a player prop better than this, but they're just not available now. And for the sake of when we're doing the show, we needed to pick something. But I do like the Miami money line. I've been talking about it this whole episode, so felt good about it. But I wish I could have got me a little A chain player prop, but all good. We'll take Miami money line here.
Got to take what you can get. How about the nightcap, the final Monday night game?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about it, Mills, and I'm kind of going all in on Bo Nix here. The I think the shortest name terms of how many letters are in it in the NFL to play quarterback. But either way here, that may be a stat. Don't quote me on it. I'm going with the Bo Nix whole thing here. 230 plus pass and rush yards. I like him. I've been waiting for him to kind of have that game where he uses his legs a little bit. I think there's going to be some open seams here that he can kind of scramble on. So I like getting the protection on if he does use his legs, plus getting in the pass game here. Love the matchup against Cincinnati's defense. So Bo Nix, 230 plus pass and rush yards. It's minus 160, 250 coins to win back 406.
And maybe you are closer to a degenerate than you want to admit, man, because that Bo Nix thing, that's not a statistic. That's a degenerate bar bet, is what that is. That's when you turn to the dude in the stool next to you, but I bet you I can get this guy to pay for my drinks for the rest of the afternoon here, for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So that's one of the classic the bar degen bets. I always have one of those in your back pocket. And for my final Monday night wager here, I'm going to actually duplicate something Jamie G had in his grab bag. I'm putting 250 coins on J.K. Dobbins, 70 plus rushing yards, plus 108, 250 coins to bring back 520. I think the Broncos smash here. I think Dobbins gets it comfortably. We might even see some RJ Harvey towards the end of the game, but I feel pretty confident that Dobbins is going to go ahead and get his.
Yeah, me too. And we're so confident in you helping us get ours. Thank you guys for checking out another episode of Seize the Gap Fantasy Football for the Sunday and Monday night football slate. We really appreciate you. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and like and subscribe to this. We're going to do them each and every week. You don't want to miss them. We're going to be bringing the heat all season long for you guys. Go ahead and subscribe to them. They'll show up in your feed. You'll be able to hang with us all season long, baby. We like that. Oh, Mills, I almost did a Mike Lowry thing. I guess we're missing golf here, or maybe Bad Boys. Either way, we're not missing you because you're with us. Let us know how you're approaching the Sunday and Monday night football games. Drop a comment below. Mills will let you know you can find all of our social media. Remember, it's week 4. Things are weird. We're coming off a weird week. Just pace yourself. We got a nice long season ahead of us. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks again for checking out Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF and on the web at seizethegapff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please make sure that you touch the thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G. Thanks again for checking out the show. Please remember to seize the gap and stop being so inefficient.
And we don't care if you're old. You need to seize the gap.